Very good morning to one and all. I welcome you all into the Industrial Pharmacy 2. So, dear student, we are on to the Indian regulatory system, and this is the details that has been prescribed by the Pharmacy Council of India as far as the Industrial Pharmacy 2 syllabus is concerned at your semester. So, all the detail most we had already covered, and today we will going through the process of approval. That is the approval process or the approval procedure. Now, this approval procedure that is in respect with that of the online portal, right? Because the whole process is that has been made online by the CDSU and by the state licensing agency in order to apply and in order to get the grant of approval, right? So that we have to see today, that we have to study today, and particularly the student who are interested in case of the regulatory processes, for them this lecture is very important, because this will gives you an idea, or this will let you understand, this will let you know that how the application that is to be made, where it is to be made, what is the portal, what are the different information which is required, and how it will works. So all these processes you will going to come to know through this particular lecture. So when you are going to be joining any kind of industry, and if you are working in case of any kind of the regulatory department, so there actually the role will come of this today's lecture, right? So without wasting much more time, we'll just directly go through the details associated with this today's talk through the slides. Now, what today we have to understand, or what is the objective of this particular lecture, or what you should come to know after going through these slides, or after going, you will going to come to know that what is the Sugam, that is the particular kind of portal which is used by the CDSU and the state licensing agency in order to receive the applications and in order to give grant of approval to the clinical trial, to the bioavailability, bioequivalence studies, to the testing, right, to the examination and analysis. So what the requirements for all these that already we saw in our previous lecture. Now here actually we have to see that how, what is this Sugam portal, how it will work, what is its site, and what are the details. Then we will going to come to know, or then we have to come to know, or we should know that who can apply, how one can apply, and how to apply for the approval of clinical trial, and what are these Sugam processes, right? Now, just I want to make it clear to you is that the process of application and getting grant, that is different from that of the reporting of the clinical trial processes, right? There are two different sites, there are two different portals. The Sugam portal that will accept the applications, and it will responsible for giving the grants of approval for the process of clinical trial. But actually the registration of the clinical trial processes that are occurring, that is happening, or that is to be done on some different site. Now what that particular site, that we will going to come to know in our next lecture. That site is the CTRI site, that is the Clinical Trial Register of India. Now in this Clinical Trial Register of India, we have to make registration, we have to make registry of all the clinical trial that we are going to be carrying out. So Sugam portal, that is just for accepting the applications and giving grants of approval to conduct the clinical trial, whereas CTRI, that is the portal, that is the site which is responsible for registration of all kinds of the clinical trial related with all kinds of the drugs, right? So this is the major difference, and that I want to make it clear from my side. Okay, now you can have, this is the particular page which will states about the Sugam portal. Now we know that what the Sugam is. Sugam, that is nothing but the, if we see the Marathi meaning of this or the Hindi meaning of this, or the Sugam, that is the particular Hindi word. But what is its meaning in case of English? The easy going. Sugam, that means it is the easy going. But how this term came, or what is the meaning of this Sugam? That Sugam refers to that of the Suraksha, Gunavatta, Evam, Manakta. So if you want to describe in English what it is the qualities, safety, quality, and efficacy. Suraksha, safety, Gunavatta, quality, and Manakta, that is the efficacy. So the three basic thing, quality, safety, and efficacy, or the safety, quality, and efficacy, that is the Suraksha, Gunavatta, and the Manakta. So in order to ensure the safety, quality, and efficacy of all the drugs, the CDSCO had designed and developed a portal which is said to be the Suraksha, Gunvatta, and Manakta, that is the Sugam portal. Now, this Sugam is an initiative of the e-governance solution for the CDSCO and for the State Food and Drug Administration. Now, why particularly the CDSCO had taken initiation in order to go for accepting and adopting an online process of receiving applications and giving grants through the online way? The reason is that because say earlier there were offline process, so that offline process was very lengthy process that require the lots of paperwork, that require, it was difficult to track most of the time the respective applications, the respective files, instead of going to the respective department, that used to go to the different department, and that again will makes the process labor intensive and the cumbersome, right? So in order to reduce the timeline, in order to make the process easy going, in order to make the easy track record of all these things, in order to reduce the paperwork, in order to make the process environment friendly, the CDSCO had taken an initiation in the year 2016 to go with the online process of receiving applications and issuing grants to perform the clinical trial. So that was the main intention behind development of this Sugam portal. So there is a Sugam online licensing. So this is the responsible for giving the licenses through the online mode. So that involve the process of submission of the applications. We can go for tracking the status of the application, that when we had applied and where or at what particular stage our application is there. Then receiving the grants of the permission, approvals, and licenses, and the no objection certificates, that is the NOCs. So that was the intention behind developing this Sugam portal. Okay. Then, as I discussed already, the objectives related behind the Sugam portal is in order to streamline these CDSCO processes. As I said, that in order to speed up the process, in order to reduce the timeline, and in order to make the process uh, answerable, justifiable, easy to monitor, easy to track, and to make the process transparent, right? In order to reduce the process of time intensive processes, right? So that is the basic objective behind this, to enable the paperless grant of various clearances by the CDSCO, as already I told you, to enable higher level of transparency in drug regulatory processes, right? In order to make the process transparent, in order to make the processes answerable at different levels. Fast track approval to enable the ease of business for the pharmaceutical industry and the regulatory processes, right? So this is having the great significance during the pandemics like COVID-19, right? You might be knowing that most of the companies, they are going for the development of the vaccines, and in order to get the clearances, in order to get the fast approvals, now this Sugam portal, that will plays a significant role, right? So that will responsible for giving the fast track approvals in the situations like say the pandemics of the COVID-19. So transparency, again, that is most important, and to establish a single window for the multiple stakeholders involved in the process of the CDSO, right? A single window platform, a single window system, which is there in order to apply. So we were onto the single window system. As I said that for the different kinds of the application, there is a single window system. Like say in order to get the approval for the GCT, that is nothing but the global clinical trial. In order to get approval for that of the SND, that is nothing but the subsequent new drug applications, right? So whatever the kind of application is there, whatever the kind of process is there, whatever the kind of approval is there. So for all these, or all these has to pass through a single window system. So that is again in order to streamline the processes of the approvals. Now you can see that the online processes, that will makes the process easy in the sense that the application that can be submitted from anywhere at any time in the country, or in the corner of the world, right? Just you can sit at your home, and from there also you can just go for submission of the application. Or suppose if you are situated into the Australia, from there also you can apply to that of the getting approvals for the processes of this online in case of the India, right? So the application process that became easy, the process of tracking that became easy. You can just go for login, and go for identifying, or go for getting to know that where your particular application is. Then you can get the communications from the CDSO. You need not to approach directly physically to the CDSO. Through your mail you will be getting the queries. Through your mail you will be getting the uh, any kind of discrepancies if it is there in your application. Through your mail you will getting come to know that your application, whether it is approved or whether it is rejected, and you will be getting the certificate of approval that is digitally signed, for which again there is no need to approach. That had saved your time, that had saved your money, that had saved your efforts, right? So that is the benefit of all these. And there actually you can go for submissions to the state licensing agencies, to the central authorities. You can go for tracking processes, approvals, and there is just a one system for all the state licensing authorities across the India. And there actually you can go for applying for the investigational new drugs, import and registration of small molecules and biologics, for the registration of the clinical trials, for the import test license, for the bioavailability, bioequivalence studies, for fixed dose combinations, for medical devices, for veterinary medicines, and for the post approval amendments. So for all the approvals related with all these, you can have just a single platform, a common platform, that is the Sugam platform. Okay, fine. Then here you can see that this is the first page associated with the Sugam portal. And if you just enter into the Google, that is the CDSE online process, you will be directed onto the Sugam portal. Now the question is that who can apply onto the Sugam portal for getting the approvals? Now, the answer to this is that all kinds of the corporate people, all kinds of the Indian agents, all kinds of the importers, all kind of the foreign enterprises, those who are holding the Indian subsidy, they are eligible or they can apply onto this Sugam portal for the process of getting the approvals. That is the grant of approvals. Then the question is that how to apply. Now, in order to how to apply, the answer this is that you need to register first of all onto the Sugam portal. So you have to go into the new registration. There you have to fill all the details, all the credentials, all the mandatory fields you need to enter. Wherever it is not applicable, there is a need to select the option that is not applicable. And once you fill all the required information, your registration process that become that will happen, and the credentials of the login, that is the login ID and password, that will going to be mailed onto the mail ID which is registered during the process of registration. So that is the process that how you can go for applying onto the Sugam portal. So as I already discussed that all these are the benefits of the Sugam portal. The 24 by 7 earlier, in case of the offline mode, the process was or the approval process or the submission processes or the application processes that used to happen during the official timing only, say from 10 or 11 up to 5 or 6, right? But now because of the online processes, the portal that will accept the applications and gives the grants of approval round the clock, 24 by 7. And it also gives the timely alerts, notifications, the automatic notifications and the alerts that will be sent to the applicant, sent to the uh, registrants, and the process that can be done at any time, anywhere, and onto the any device. Even though if we are having a just a pocket device like say the smartphone, from that smartphone also with the help of use of a app associated with the Sugam portal, we can go for the process of applying, or we can go for the process of tracking the status of our application. So it is simplified process for the documentation, submission, review, and tracking. The processes are efficient, transparent. All the previous submissions that became or that came under the one roof, as already I told you that all kinds of these submissions, all these submissions, see all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all these kind of the 10 applications that can be made at one place, that is all the applications or all the submissions that are under one roof. So post submission change request available while application is in progress. The query responses, these are online. You will be getting the notifications. The progress toward the data integrity, that is say because of the only one login for the one company or for the one registrant. Because of that, the privacy, the integrity or the secrecy of the data that can be maintained, so which all will makes the processes easy in order to perform the business. So there is a ease of doing, there is a ease of business because of the Sugam portal.